Hello and welcome to another video from Midas Touch Toys, Games, Collectibles. And today we're looking at something now that's quite old and becoming more and more difficult to find. We are looking at the 1995 release by Playmates from their Star Trek Voyager series of action figures, and this was the Series 1 range of figures. And this particular one we are looking at today is of the emergency holographic Doctor. As he appeared in a television show, and obviously he was portrayed by the actor Robert Picardo. Now, Star Trek Voyager was the fourth series in the Star Trek franchise, and the series ran from 1995 to 2001. It was set to run alongside Deep Space Nine, but set in a different sector of space, so new species, aliens, and so on could be introduced as regular characters into the television series. So basically, Voyager ends up 70,000 light years from Earth, and the whole concept of Voyager is their journey back from the Delta Quadrant back to the Alpha Quadrant. Okay, anyway, I've digressed. Let's have a look at this figure. So this is the item in front of us. And at the very top of the card, it says, warning, choking hazard, small parts, not for children under 3 years. And it says ages 4 and up, and includes an exclusive inaugural edition Playmates Skybox collector card. Star Trek Voyager, and there you've got an image of the Voyager ship flying through space. And this particular figure is the Doctor, the emergency medical hologram. And it comes complete with Delta Quadrant Accessories, includes in the Hypospray, the personal access display device, or the pad, desktop monitor, medical tool, and bonus is his Starfleet display base. Bottom right hand corner is a Playmates logo, and the bottom left hand corner you've got the assortment number, which was 6480, and this item, the stock number, was 6486. Okay, so that's the front of the card. Let's turn it round to the back and let's have a look at what we got printed on the reverse. Okay, so I've turned the card around to the back, and this is what we've got on the back. So again, it says exclusive inaugural edition Playmates Skybox collector's card included, and that one shows an image of the one for Captain Janeway. It says Star Trek Voyager, and you see an image, the same image of the Starship Voyager flying through space. It says, in an effort to rescue a band of marquee rebels, the Starship USS Voyager finds itself swept up in a strange and terrifying phenomenon which throws the ship into the far reaches of the galaxy, some 70,000 light years away, with no easy way home. Some of Starfleet's finest officers and a handful of dedicated marquee rebels join forces aboard one of the most highly advanced starships ever built, the USS Voyager. To find a way back home, join the Voyager crew for exciting new adventures as they go boldly to explore, study, investigate this unexplored region of space. It says, collect all of these Star Trek Voyager action figures. So you had Captain Catherine Janeway, Commander Chakotay, Lieutenant Tom Paris, Ensign Harry Kim, Lieutenant B'Elanna Torres, the Doctor, the emergency medical hologram, Lieutenant Tuvok, Kestis of the Akampa, and Neelix, the Talaxian. Incidentally, in the UK, Ensign Harry Kim and Kestis Akampa were never released. They didn't appear in any of the cases that were supplied through the UK. In order to get those two figures, we used to have to import them in from the States. Anyway, that's a bit of trivia. Let's move back on. So the Delta Quadrant accessories that come with the figure is the personal access display device, or the pad, which is a handheld control and display terminal. The Hypospray, which is injection of medication. The medical tool, which is the scanning device, and the desktop. What is that? Desktop. Oh, desktop monitor, Starship Library computer interface terminal, and of course you've got the Starfleet display base at the bottom. And it says, important note to collectors, Playmates Toys Inc. is proud to produce the ultimate in finely detailed, authentic action figures for the Star Trek series. We invest the necessary time to create true likeness of each character, utilising a special molding process. This allows us to offer final products which maintain the integrity of our original handcrafted models. And of course, all of our action figures are individually numbered for authenticity and collectability. Playmates appreciates a collector's demand for quality and detail, and we will continue to create products and meet a product that meets or exceeds those high standards. And then you've got the licensing and copyright information at the bottom, the Star Trek Fan Club, Playmates logo, and the barcode, and assortment number 6480 and 6486. And it says Library Computer and Retrieval Systems, USS Voyager NCC 74656, Senior Officer Biographical Profile. Subject, Emergency Medical Hologram. Species, Computer Program. Rank, Acting Chief Medical Officer. Profile, the Doctor is not an organic life form, but a holographic figure originally designed as an emergency supplement in the regular medical crew. The Doctor became Chief Medical Officer when his human predecessor was killed as the USS Voyager was pulled into the Delta Quadrant. Because he was not designed for his current task, the Doctor is lacking in the interpersonal skills necessary to relate to the crew. Captain Janeway has received several complaints that he's brusque, rude, and lacking any bedside manner. But he does have the capacity to learn, and with Kess's compassionate guidance, is slowly developing a personality. The Doctor's hologram was created at the Jupiter Starfleet Programming Center by a man named Zimmerman. In fact, he looks a lot like the program. He has access in data, 2,000 medical references, and the experience of 47 individual medical officers. He is programmed with over 5 million medical treatments. Captain Janeway authorized his program to be modified so he can turn himself off. The Doctor may one day choose a name for himself. To schedule a medical examination, report to sickbay. Okay, so there we have it. That's the back of the card. That writing, because the way it's done in computer text, is very difficult to read on a black background and very, very small writing. So there we are. Anyway, let's turn the figure back around to the front and let's have a good look at the figure itself. Okay, so I've zoomed right in on the figure, and there you can see the facial features, and it's very, very good compared to Robert Picardo, who played the Doctor. There you can see the actor's face there and the facial features of the figure. And I just want to have a really, really good look at that figure because it's very, very good. I do think that they've managed to get his nose absolutely spot on. The eyebrows are very, very much there, as are the eyes, and the mouth is just spot on. It's absolutely perfect. Obviously the bald head, you couldn't really get that wrong, so not a lot to shout about there. Maybe the chin is just the only thing that's a little bit out, but otherwise it's such a good likeness, as you can see. I mean, I think it's brilliantly done. The sculpting is just very, very, very good, and there you can see what I mean. It's very, very close to Robert Picardo's actual face as he appeared on the TV series. Okay, so there we have the head, and you can see he's in. They've made the uniform like a dark green for some reason, where it was more of a teal colour in the TV series, as you can see on the image of the Doctor. You can see it's a slightly different colour. I don't quite know why they made it a dark green. So it's just not quite right. But there we are. That's other than that, the uniform is bang on. Even the communicator badge, which we can see right there on his chest, which is exactly like the ones used in the TV series. His undergarment is the right colour. We've got that purple, and then obviously the uniform goes into the, because it's a jumpsuit really, it's a black really all the way down to his black shoes. So again, you couldn't really get that colour wrong. It's just the top colour, which is, I say, it's just not quite right. It was more of a bluey tealy colour than green on the TV series. So that's the only real criticism I've got of the figure itself. There's the accessories. So you've got the pad, the desktop monitor, the Hypospray, and the medical tool, which you can just see all of those here. And just behind the figure, if you can just see that without the light getting on there, you can see the stand, and it says the doctor on it. And at the bottom of his foot, you can see the individual number that's been printed onto his feet. All of the figures were individually numbered to make them more collectible. Okay, now obviously we can't remove this figure from the packet because obviously it would no longer be new, it'd be used. But I do have my faithful Captain Ben Sisko figure, who's standing right next to me, and he is exactly the same size and build as the Doctor. So let's get some measurements. We have the figure stands 12 centimeters tall, which is about 5 inches. We can double check that. There we go, 5 inches, just under. Across his arms, the hands, the points they are at the moment, you're looking at 5 centimeters or 2 inches, and depth wise, again, we're looking at about 2 centimeters, which is just under an inch. Articulation wise, well, the head moves, the arms go up and down, the tops of the arms turn, the elbows bend, so you don't need to turn the hands because the arms turn at the top there, and that's the same on both sides. So good articulation on there. The waist turns round and the knees bend, but the feet don't. So if you want to turn the feet, it's the whole waist that you're turning. But they're all the same. All these figures have the same articulation, hence the reason why I'm showing you Captain Sisko. Okay, so that is our Doctor holographic figure. So how well did these figures do? Well, yeah, I mean, you've got to bear in mind that in 1995, Star Trek was massive franchise. It was the biggest franchise in the world, I would say. Far bigger than Star Wars, because Star Wars nothing had been produced for Star Wars since 1980. So that was well in the background, and it was before the announcement of the new movies was announced. So way back before then. And the Star Trek: The Next Generation had come to an end, and in order to fill a gap, Paramount produced or come up with the concept of Star Trek Voyager, and it ran alongside Deep Space Nine, so it's the same timeline as Deep Space Nine and Star Trek: The Next Generation. Obviously, The Next Generation then went on to the movies, so we were spoilt for Star Trek because we had reruns of the original series. The Next Generation just come to an end, but had gone into the movies. We had all of the original movies, and we had Deep Space Nine airing regularly, and it was just a wonderful time. And after that, then we had Star Trek Enterprise. So it was such a wonderful time for Star Trek, and the franchise was so big, it was highly popular, and everybody, it was anybody, watched Star Trek, one form or another. So it was a very big franchise. When the Star Trek Voyager figures come out, my God, did they fly off the shelf. We had the shop at the time, and I remember when we got the cases of figures on the shelf, people knew they were coming in. We had lots of people that had prepaid us for figures because they wanted them when they arrived. So by the time we took all of those out, there wasn't a great deal left. We opened the shop doors, they sold out the day they went on the shelf, and then we had to wait a week or so for replacement stock to come in, and obviously the hype had died down a little bit by then. They still sold very quickly, but not as quickly as they did on the first day. So yes, they were extremely popular and sold very well. Now let's fast forward nearly 30 years, 29 years to be precise, up to 2024. do these figures come up very often on the platforms? Loose figures do. Oh yeah, pick loose figures up very, very easily on the platforms. New sealed figures like this one, not so frequently. They do come up from time to time, but not as often. They did used to see loads of them on the platforms, but obviously now, as the years have gone on, the collectors that want them and keep them, they've got them. People that bought them and opened them and put them on display, well, they're open now, so you don't see as many of these sealed packs mint condition as we used to. Don't get me wrong, they do come up from time to time. You see more of the common figures than the rarer ones. So in each cases, when you bought cases from the manufacturers, you had different quantities of different figures. So the popular ones, or what they considered to be the popular characters, were the ones you got more of, and the lesser popular characters were the ones you got fewer of. The Doctor was one that we got fewer of. I don't know why, because he did have quite a few episodes devoted mainly where he was the star of the episode. So I don't quite understand why, and maybe they just thought that he wasn't as good a popular character as the likes of Catherine Janeway or Commander Chakotay or Tom Paris come with that, Banana Taurus even. But he was one of those. I think there was him and Neelix were the ones where you usually only got one or two figures in a case. Anyway, that was then. So yes, they do come up on the platforms, not very often, unless you want a loose figure where you can pick them up pretty much anywhere. Or alternatively, now we at Midas Touch, when we bought out a closed down toy and comic book shop that have been around since the 1960s, they closed during COVID, and when they come back were unable to make things work again, so they decided to retire, and we were fortunate enough to buy out all of their stock that they had on the shelves and also in the stock room. And in the stock room was an unopened case of Voyager action figures, which was very exciting, as these figures are absolutely case fresh, never been sold, never been touched. So and these figures, all of these figures, are currently available to purchase on the Midas Touch website, which you can get to very simply by clicking the link below. It will take you straight to the website, where you'll be able to find this and many other Star Trek items and many other vintage toys, games and collectibles. Come to that, there's over 10,000 products currently available on the website for you to view and purchase at your leisure. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because we're uploading videos for every new item that goes into the website. There will be something for everybody, and I'm absolutely positive that it's something you won't want to miss, because we literally have thousands and thousands of new products which we're shooting videos for and uploading on a daily basis. So if there's something in particular you are looking for, something old that you've never been able to find, something quirky you might want to buy for a friend, or maybe just something from your childhood that you'd like to own again to help you recuperate those long lost childhood memories, well, stay tuned, keep watching, because you never know, the next item we upload could be that item you've been looking for. Okay, that is it for me on this particular item. I do hope you've enjoyed reviewing this wonderful, wonderful action figure with me. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next video. So bye for now.